I've been playing with Trick Room and BDSP doubles lately, and I've made a list of what I believe to be the good setters, the good attackers, and the sauce attackers, as we'll refer to them. These ones will need some explanation, but first I want to describe the setters. I have made spreads for Jirachi, Eggy, Bronzong, Gardevoir, Slowbro, Cresselia, and Digiduck. I have not tried out Slowbro, Guard as a setter, or Jirachi just yet, but I did make spreads for them. Most of these EV spreads are centered around taking hits from Garchomp, +2 Garchomp, Tyranitar, boosted Tyranitar if possible, and if any of them have a weakness, like say Jirachi to Heat Wave, I've tried to tone down the damage as much as I can. So first setter's Digiduck, also known as Porygon 2. Even without Eviolite in BDSP, he's still reliable. He can still take plenty of hits, and Citrus plus Recover gives him enough longevity. We're not fighting Pokemon like Megacon or Mega Salamence anymore, so although he would love Eviolite, it would really put him above other setters. He doesn't necessarily need it. Ice Beam T-Bolt, perfect coverage, damn near. You can also run Shadow Ball, Tri-Attack, whatever you feel like. But Ice Beam and T-Bolt generally covers what you want. Hits things like Garchomp, Lati Twins, Azu, Togekiss. Not much else to say for him. He's great at taking on Garchomp, but he's not really a mon to switch in. He can recover hits off, but because he's a setter, he's going to be double targeted a lot. As with all setters, you want Intimidate, Support, Fake Out, Redirection, etc., etc. Cress is old reliable. There's nothing new about her. There's nothing special about the spread. It's what she's ran her entire life. She gets Trick Room up. She's immune to Earthquake. She can fight Dragon types to some degree. And she has Moonlight. Moonlight isn't as good as Recover, but she does have more bulk overall than P2. She'll just have to deal with bad matchups versus Sand, but if you're using Cress, you need a fighting type, Steel, Ground, whatever it is you'd like to take on Rock or Steel types, to like Tyranitar, Metagross, etc. So the Moonlight weakness is really going to kill you sometimes, but her bulk is undeniable. Slowbro, I have not tried out yet. He's EV to take Crunch from T-Tar and Specs Lati Draco. Burst healing with Regenerator and Citrus is going to be really nice. He has good coverage with Scald, Ice Beam, Psychic. You can run Protect if you'd like. I'm sure if I actually used him, I would find something more optimal than this. But so far, it's just the future that I see for him. I'm going to give him a try someday, but not just yet. Gardevoir, although she's very frail, in Oras, if you're using Mega Guard to set Trick Room, you're going to use Intimidate to begin with, no matter what. The same thing applies here. She can take a non-boosted, non-item Bullet Punch from Adamant Scizor, and her damage with Moonblast is very good. She is one of the few fairy types in the game. I don't count Azu as a fairy type, considering how she's used. And Togekiss is also questionable, so whenever I look for a fairy type, I typically just look at Guard. Bronzong is probably going to be overshadowed by Jirachi, but here's what he's got. He's got Levitate, which is excellent. He's much slower. Gyro Ball hurts, although if they are a resist, if he's -1, if they have low speed, the damage of Gyro Ball is going to go down the shitter quick. His big advantage, though, is Imprison plus Protect, which is going to prevent the opponent from stalling at your Trick Room turns. That is an excellent upside. However, when Bronzong is dead weight, you're really going to see it. Also, Heatran shits on him. Executor has actually been phenomenal for me. I've used him in a good 10 games or so. Leaf Storm and Psychic damage is great. The typing, most people would think Grass and Psychic is shit, but I don't worry about Ghost types, Poison types, Flying. Those aren't really prevalent offensive typings in BDSP. And Ice and Fire, good coverage or just good stab moves. Bug, you've really just got to worry about from Scizor. But if you see Scizor, just swap out. you know, fake him out, have him burned, anything. Just get the damage down or neglected. Eggy can take plenty of hits for you and recover the health right up. I took an Adamant Crunch from Cheetar. It did about 96 to me. And I procced Citrus Berry and then harvested another citrus. I was back to like 56 or 57. Harvest is very clutch. And his grass typing also means that he is immune to Spore, which is what allows him to run a Citrus Berry. Most of these Mons can run a Lumberry, but really I just do it for Cress because she's going to be the one status the most, I'd say. All of them warrant using Spore on them if you have it to begin with, but typically my instinct just tells me carry it on Cress. Lum is good on all of these. Mental Herb is there also, but there's not that many taunt users. There's good ones like Gyarados, but taunt isn't something I'm really too concerned about, especially because we lack double genies to use it. And then Jirachi, I have not tried out yet. He's got 100 bulk across the board. As many moves as you'd like. Stealth Rock, U-Turn, Healing Wish, Flash Cannon, Psychic. I believe he gets Zen in this game. Meteor Mash is excellent, but I'm running him special so far just because of Intimidate and Burns, but you can try anything you'd like. We have not tried to, we've not had the ability to try out Jirachi just yet in doubles because I believe it's the Tanabata or Tanabachi event Jirachi. It always comes with Follow Me, and this always gets Jirachi kicked because he is the best redirector by and far. So now that Follow Me is not available on him, he's allowed in doubles, so I want to give him a try sometime. I believe he'd be good. I have Shuckaberry for him to negate as much of Earthquake as possible. Eating up a Heat Wave from Modest Heat Rain is fine, and that 100 bulk across the board is going to carry him to begin with. If you have status Mons next to him, you're going to see his bulk carry him throughout the entire game. And being a Trick Room setter with U-Turn is extremely powerful. None of these other Pokemon have that trait. So if you set it up with him and then need to pull him out, you absolutely can. You can pull out a Fake Out Mon like Hariyama. You can pull out Intimidate. You can just get in a damage dealer. You can pull out a Resist if you expect him to be targeted. Jirachi has big potential. As for the attackers, we have quite a few. I had a big list of attackers that could have niches that I'll get onto, but when it comes to the viable attackers, whoops. Metagross is going to come to everyone's mind. He's a steel type, he's fat as shit, he hits hard, clear body is amazing, and he's just old reliable like usual. I can probably find a good EV spread for him, but nothing really comes to mind. Like, if it comes to dulling down Earthquakes or Heat Waves, it's just going to take away too much of my attack, and Metagross's main selling point beyond the Steel Psychic typing is his huge attack. Cutting that down too much isn't going to put you ahead. And if you dull down Earthquake, you won't be able to dull down Heat Wave. If you dull down Heat Wave, you won't be able to reduce Earthquake, vice versa. I'm just leaving it at a simple 252 spread for now. If there's anything better, I'll either find out or someone will tell me. But as it stands, this is the set. You could run Earthquake instead of Hammer Arm if you'd like, but Hammer Arm lets you become slower under Trick Room, which in other gens like 6, 7, 8 would be very useful. However, Trick Room, I don't think it's unviable, but I don't see it on ladder too often. Maybe I just need to ladder more. I've been busy working, so I haven't been able to grind it out as much as I'd like. But whenever it comes to like being as slow as possible, it's not too big of a concern. Still, Hammer Arm's excellent coverage, 100 power, lets you smack Heat Ram. If you want Earthquake, run it, but they're going to find ways to block it or reduce it anyways, so I might as well keep the single target damage. And you can run Life Orb if you'd like. I'm a big fan of Lumberry Metagross because I'm an old man, but Life Orb is good too. Salamander, aka Heatran, is as good as ever. It was starting to see decline in usage in Oras when people found out Volcanion is actually a god. And in Gen 7, it was total shit. Only good on full room teams, but even then, Incineroar is going to come in. He's going to take your life. But I'm choosing to run Flash Cannon rather than Substitute for 2 reasons. Substitute is excellent on Heatran. It is infamous for using it. However, it's going to waste a Trick Room turn, and Heatran is to be one of your main damage dealers. On bulk balance teams with Mons like Fake Out and like Earthquake switch-ins, he's able to more easily find substitute turns to play that game. But I value every single turn of Trick Room that I get. So Flash Cannon, for the second reason, hits T-Tar, hits Garchomp, smacks the Lotties, gives you a great tool versus, say, Togekiss. It's only 80 power, but Heatran's 130 special is nothing to mess with, especially since we're boosting with Quiet. To the average T-Tar in Sand, you'll do about 50% of its health. So Flash Cannon, I'm gonna find a lot more reliable than Substitute. If I was on a bulk, like a balanced team, a non-Trick Room team, I'd definitely run Sub, but Flash Cannon's always there to save the day for you. Hariyama is a Fake Out Mon, kills Steel types. Poison Jab is good for fairies like Azu Togekiss. And he's immune to status, which is very important. Spore isn't everywhere like it is in other metas, like say, we don't have a Moongus to set it. Breloom can be a good mon, especially since Tailwind, the way Tailwind works this gen. So having a mon that's immune to status is going to be very helpful. Setting up Fake Out's wonderful as well, helping get the Trick Room up. And his close combat damage mauls anything that doesn't resist it. He's very powerful. Downsides are he dies in a single hit. That health is fake. It's only going to buffer out resisted hits. And you're close combating most of the time anyways, so be aware that Hariyama is a ticking time bomb some days. Rhyperior is the premier spread damage mon. It is extremely slow. It has sky high attack at 140. Its physical bulk is insane. And his coverage is quite good. You have Stone Edge, Earthquake for damn near perfect coverage. I'm running Ice Fang because I value being able to smack Garchomp as hard as I can. Otherwise, I'm going to Earthquake. It's going to take a lot. Or it's going to take a lot from Garchomp's Earthquake, which means you're on less Life Orb turns as well. Smacking him in one turn is going to be, it's going to increase Rhyperior's longevity. However, if you don't care for that, there is Drill Run for single target ground move. There is Rock Slide for old reliable. There is Hammer Arm. Mega Horn is nice. I wouldn't put any money down on Poison Jab. Does he get Thunder Fang? Oh lord. Anyways, Rhyperior provides a crucial spread damage mon, and with Lightning Rod, you can form this offensive-defensive core with Gyarados, protecting him from T-Bolts that he'd instantly die to otherwise, and Intimidate boosting Rhyperior's physical defense even higher, as well as the two being able to just combine their big attack stats with Earthquake and Waterfall. And on top of that, Gyarados also has Taunt. Most people, including myself, there's bulk Gyarados for other teams for non-Trick Room that runs T-Wave. But you don't want T-Wave on a Trick Room team, so you're going to run Taunt over Thunder Wave. And the mileage on that is going to be very nice. You're going to be able to protect your teammates from Taunt, from status moves, so you can keep them safe. But Rhyperior is the #1 partner for Cresselia, easily, and for Gyarados, and the three of them form a very effective core for setting up Trick Room. Azu is one of the few fairy types, although I kind of mocked that earlier. People just run Belly Drum and assume that it's a lead and that it'll win the game. I'm disillusioned with this. But anyways, without Belly Drum, she's free to run Waterfall. So you have Waterfall, Play Rough, Stab, which is excellent. She's a dragon killer. She's very powerful. And she carries... Oh my lord, I have thick fat. And she carries Aqua Jet for sniping Pokemon outside of Trick Room. I have been able to do this with Crawdaunt to Pokemon like Rotom Heat, and it's really saved my ass so far. If you don't like Aqua Jet, There is superpower, there's like double edge, but it's not going to take you anywhere. I would much rather have the priority of Aqua Jet just in case. Speaking of water types though in Aqua Jet, Crawdon is stronger than I thought he'd be, and I don't mean damage wise, I mean viability wise. He doesn't like burns, he dies in one hit, he can't switch in, yada yada. When you do get him in, he can damn near kill Cresselia in one hit, which Trick Room teams struggle with. Aqua Jet is fucking strong. I will go calc that versus Garchomp real quick to show. 35 to 41 to Garchomp. Crabhammer is going to miss out on the KO, but this right here is going to save you more games than you can imagine. When they have a mod that's weakened from Trick Room being up, and then you get a chance to snipe it with Aqua Jet, even if Crawdon dies the next turn, he did something for the team. And when it is up, Crabhammer does not fuck around. Knockoff is going to slaughter anything that would resist it, like the Lottie twins. And he just puts a lot of pressure on the opponent. They'll get nervous with Crawdon around. The choice between Crawdon and Azu is between damage potential and bulk. I initially leaned more towards Azumarill, but one of my brothers was using Crawdon and was showing me what he can do, and I'm really starting to see his point. Crawdon's strong, but Azu's more reliable, yada yada. The choice is yours. It may depend on your team as well. There's some days where I wish I could swap a water type in that's not Crawdon, and there's some days with Azu where I thought, man, if only I could kill everything in one hit. Snorlax is in a bit of an odd place. He does learn Belly Drum, he does get Citrus Gluttony, or you could use the other berries, like the Wiki Berries. But I'm not entirely sure about him. Like, Belly Drum is fucked up, of course. It's very powerful. It'll scare the shit out of the opponent. But I lean more towards Curse, because when Trick Room runs out, I'm gonna need a Pokemon that can take any hit in the game. He does not care about special attacks, those don't exist to him. And with Curse, with this relaxed nature, after one boost, they're going to have a very hard time breaking through Snorlax. When I play against my brother that uses Snorlax, I often see the flaw of my team building because I don't have a way of smashing a fat mon like him, although Snorlax isn't like some #1 threat. You know, it's not VGC 18 anymore. Hell, he was good in VGC 17, wasn't he? But it's one of those mons where if the opponent doesn't have an option to beat it, he's gonna carry the game. But if they get him burned, if they can double target him, if you're just not finding setup opportunities, I mean, the guy's only got 258 attack and Facade. He's gonna let you down. So he can be a kind of a matchup god in some games. I am slightly dismissive of him. I prefer to not run Snorlax myself, but I'm open-minded with him. He is unbreakable once Curse is up, but getting it up, wasting your Trick Room turns, finding a turn to swap him in, having to go through the recycle phase, it just kind of worries me about his expected value. Cheetar is old reliable, excellent Pokemon. You can actually run Ice Beam over Ice Fang if you want to snipe Garchomp. His special attack is 95, it'll get past Intimidate, yada yada. I just ran Ice Fang because I have all my EVs into physical. I should probably change it later. I know I have a Tank Tar set somewhere. Rock Slide does what it always does. Crunch is excellent. It's going to help you versus Crest, which again, Trick Room teams are very susceptible to Calm Mind Crest. His Sandstream is going to cuck her Moonlight, which is awesome. He helps you versus weather teams. He doesn't exactly switch into rain. You know, he doesn't just come in when he pleases, because Hydro Pump is still super effective against him. But if you really needed to reduce that damage for, say, Cresselia, you can do it. I like Expert Belt because of his coverage, and it helps him close out kills on Garchomp if you're lowered on attack. Citrus Berry's nice. He has plenty of resist berries like Babiri, Chople, Shucka. Pretty nice, but I just haven't built a Trick Room team with him yet. I'm sure I'll see what I want when I do. Scizor, I'm kind of iffy on. U-Turn is awesome. It lets you get in the Pokemon that you want. Bullet Punch outside of Trick Room lets you snipe Pokemon. Very useful when you weaken Pokemon like the Lottie Twins or Garchomp. He is good versus Cress, so I'm going to bring it up again. You know, Trick Room teams lose to Calm Mind Cress. So he can chunk her. But something about Scizor on Trick Room teams never sat well with me in most of the gens I've played. It's not like he's a letdown, there's just something that I don't quite get with him. It's hard to say. But he's a Steel type, he gets that Bug type damage on Psychics. Bullet Punch is amazing. Brick Break is there as filler. If you want, you can run X Scissor. It's not like he's actually going to OHKO, Heat Ran. But just do as you please with him. If you could run Swords Dance too, if you'd like. Holy shit. SD Scizor is a nightmare. Gardevoir, I did mention her as a setter, but if you just want her as an attacker that can also be taunt bait, then she can do that. Being taunt bait is kind of, it's a little harebrained, but it's there. I mean, if I saw Gardevoir, I would expect her to be carrying Trick Room. But if you run it this way, you have spread damage with D-Gleam, which don't doubt D-Gleam, by the way. I've been using Modest Guard on a Scarfed Modest Guard in one of my Tailwind teams. And she can pick up plenty of damage with it. She doesn't OHKO Garchomp per se, but whenever Mons start losing 20 or 30% health, they start creeping into OHKO range from D-Gleam. Moonblast is strong as shit. I think to Sandstorm, Sandstorm T-Tar it does like 60 to 70. It's pretty fucked. Psychic as usual. I like Trace, I'm a big fan, but Telepathy lets you partner up with, Telepathy lets you partner up with Rhyperior, which is rad. The two of them can just shred teams apart with spread damage. It's kind of why I use Scarf Telepathy Guard next to Garchomp. They can just shred the opponent with spread damage. Eggy, another time where I say there's a Trick Room setter that you don't have to use Trick Room on. For Sleep Powder, it is quite nice, but if you want a Pokemon to use a sleeping move on Trick Room, you should probably just use Parasect. I haven't put much money down on Parasect so far though, because he dies in 0 hits. You're forced to run Sash. He does combine Spore and Rage Powder, which is nice, but I'm still pretty skeptical of him. Personally, I wouldn't really do this. I'm just not a fan, but someone out there might try it out. Same spread as before, but you're gonna get way more mileage out of Trick Room. And Gambo, my Gyarados. I mentioned it earlier. This guy can take plenty of hits. Spadef is great. Physical bulk boosted by Intimidate. I have enough bulk to start taking Rock Slides effectively at -1. Citrus Berry is a great item. I never run Wakan Berry on him. It's stupid. He is not meant to fight Electric types. The main ones are going to, the main ones like Rotom are going to resist everything he has and just kill him the next turn or burn him. Because they're expecting you to switch, they can just start getting burn chip on something else. So Citrus is better. It helps supplement that bulk for Intimidate. Lets you take more Rock Slides. Lets you take a Psychic or two if you need to from Lotties. Ice Fang lets you snipe Garchomp. Waterfall's great. If you really don't give a shit about Taunt, there's like, I don't know, Crunch, Stone Edge. There's not really anything good. Just run Taunt. It's going to carry you. For the more Hida Fajita-esque, rest in peace, CTC, the more Hida Fajita-esque attackers, there is Torterra. Immune to Electric, resists Ground and Rock. He is immune to Spore, so the only status move that can really get him is Wisp. His damage isn't as good as Rhyperior when it comes to being a ground type, but he can fight water types, which Rhyperior cannot do. Rhyperior must run from them. The way for Rhyperior to fight is to have them weakened, which of course you can say for any mon that like can kill a check. But Torterra can do that right off the bat. Woodhammer is fucking strong. And he gets Earthquake, which is excellent, and Stone Edge if you want to hit flying types. Although there's not that many of them. Like there's Togekiss, which of course you want to be able to hit. But if you don't care about Togekiss, just consider this. What else do you have? Like what? Seed Bomb, Heavy Slam, Double Edge. There's nothing. There's Crunch. Like who gives a shit? Just run Stone Edge. It's gonna complete your coverage. It's what you should do. Granbull, another Fairy type. I'm a little iffy. I do like her. I loved using her in Oras RU, but in doubles, she's not really been successful. She has Taunt, she has Intimidate, Play Rough is strong, her physical bulk is nice since Intimidate's up. I'm not putting much money on her, but she has unique traits to her that I wanted to mention. Try her out if you'd like. If there's an EV spread that's better, try it. Yada yada. Not really going to find her way onto my teams. Machamp. Machamp and Heracross are going to always be at odds with Hariyama because they're all Guts users. Hariyama has Fake Out, which is huge, and he can afford to just run. He doesn't have to run Protect, but the traits that Machamp has are Ice Punch to slaughter the Lottie Twins Dragon types like Garchomp. Hariyama cannot do that. Hariyama can greatly wound Garchomp with close combat, but Machamp will just straight up kill it. It is excellent coverage, but not having Fake Out is a big deal. It's up for grabs. Now, where Heracross comes in is Mega Horn will slaughter Cresselia. It'll kill the Lottie Twins. Close Combat plus Mega Horn has good neutral coverage, and then when you combine it with Stone Edge, not many Mons can find their way in. He does resist Earthquake, which is nice. He's resistant to Dark, which is also good for Cresselia. And that's about all I have to say for him. He's an odd pick. I'm not sure how good he's going to be, but for status immunity, he is there. And Mega Horn damage is always going to be sick. He's been doing that since Gen 1. For Alligator, I'm actually surprised by Oko's all three dragons, Latios, Latias, Garchomp. Waterfall is epic, and Crunch does like 36 to 47 to Cress. If you want to combine the role of water type damage, being able to kill dragon types, and doing good against Cress, for Alligator can actually carry you. He gets free life orb damage because of the way Sheer Force works, and his coverage is superb. His bulk is good, but he's not really a mon to switch in. But it's interesting. He's got more value than I think he might have. Ursaring is there, massive facade damage, Hammer Arm Crunch. Not much to say. The same thing's gonna loop back to the other Guts mons. What does he do better than them? He has better damage with facade. He doesn't have to cuck his defenses with close combat. But Ursaring has never been that great. Like, for example, if you look through his doubles sets, there are none except for black and white. But VGC 12, I'm going to show you why you shouldn't listen to these. They have spreads for Esselgor, Ambipalm, Archeops, Aeron, Armaldo, Bufalon. I think Kingler is here. This is, I mean, it looks cool. It makes you think, oh, there's so many options, and then that I don't. Just, like, what the fuck is this? Oh my lord. So that's the only reason why I really thought about him, was because I was looking through VGC 12 for spreads and I saw him. But I think it's really not going to work out. Aggron is fucking cool, although you should run Iron Head for the flinch chance. And because Heavy Slam isn't really that great, he's only 800 pounds. Plenty of Pokemon are going to weaken that. Head Smash plus Rockhead is nice. The damage is immense. I think to Garchomp you do like 49-ish. Like, it'll really fucking dent him. But he's not really that much better as a rock type attacker over Rhyperior. He's not really that much better of a steel type attacker over Heatran. He's just kind of cool. I should say she. I did name her Iron Maiden. But again, it's there. It's a cool option. It'll make you look like the cool kid on the block, but it's not really that amazing. Breloom is present, but like it combines the roles of killing water types, sniping bonds with Mach Punch and Spore, but I'm just really not that attracted to it. Save it for Tailwind teams. This mon has some pretty good utility. Water Absorb is nice and eases the Azu matchup, although he can't fight Togekiss. It lets you switch in for mons like Heatran if possible, although you need a hard read considering he does die in one hit. And because of that weakness, because of how low his bulk is and his typing, I'm not running any HP. I'm just going to power up Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch is strong as shit. It's a very valuable move to have. Energy Ball is powerful. I think Garchomp does about 60. And the reason why I bring up Garchomp so much is he's a very central figure for his offense, for his spread damage, and for his bulk. His bulk, like if I was playing X and Y, I would measure a mon's bulk versus like Mega Guard for the, for taking a Psychic or Hyper Voice, and for Kangaskhan to measure how good my physical defense is. In this game, I'm typically just going to refer to Garchomp. I think it's a very good measure to have for your bulk, as well as for your damage. Anyways, Energy Ball does great damage to Garchomp, just to show a measure for how powerful it is. Sucker Punch lets him not be so reliant on Trick Room, and Dark Pulse is a good stab. Good matchup versus Crest, although Ice Beam's going to hurt you, but she's going to be scared as shit of that Dark Pulse. I don't have much to say about Rampardos. You have Head Smash at 165 power, that's all he's got going for him. There's Rock Slide, which is strong. I remember I calced it versus Tapu Fini in Gen 7. It does like 46 to 56. It's fucking strong. But he sucks. And Abomasnow. Weather to stop out, to stop Sandstorm, to stop Drizzle. That'll reduce T-Tar's bulk. It'll reduce the damage from rain. And he has spread damage with Blizzard, which is great in a metagame dominated by Dragon types. Energy Ball for secondary stab. And Aurora Veil. That is the main reason to use him. These are not reasons to use him. Aurora Veil is the reason to use him. It is going to take your Trick Room bulk. It's going to take your natural Trick Room bulk up even higher. He does have a lot of weaknesses, although I should mention again, like I did with Eggy. If we look at this, Fire, Rock, Steel, and I guess Fighting. I wouldn't worry about Bug, Flying, or Poison. So I look at him more as he has 4 common weaknesses and 3 like 2 weaknesses I never see, and then bad matchup versus Scizor, but big deal. These are good resistances, but again, it's all going to circle back to your ability to set up Aurora Veil and to deny weather. For support, so for Mons helping you get it up, Gyarados with Intimidate. I talked about him earlier. Hitmontop with Intimidate and Fake Out plus Wide Guard. Wide Guard will save Mons that are weak to Earthquake, Deagle, and Heat Wave. My problem with Hitmontop, and also make sure to run enough speed to get past opposing Hitmontop. Yeah, you won't be as slower than them in Trick Room, but you would have gotten Trick Room up. That's what you're here for. Okay, outspeed other Hitmontops and fake them out. Most people speed creep by like a little itty bit, like 8 points. I'm a little more committed than that, because the bulk doesn't matter. Like it's you're only running 252 to begin with. You're not investing in either of these. The attack I don't give a shit about. I'm either hitting a super effective or I'm not, so I don't care. I will boost that bulk up as high as or that speed up as much as I can. Luxray, my good friend of the Bug Brotherhood, Mr. Anthony, was using Luxray on a Tailwind team. It had Snarl and Helping Hands. I wanted to try him out because my girlfriend really likes Luxray and I wanted to impress her, and I actually impressed myself more so. Luxray can eat Earthquakes. He's able to take heavy special hits. Intimidate and Baby Doll Eyes is clutch. Like, this move has never been used before on Showdown, but it's actually like, say they have a T-Tar that's going to fuck up your crest. You can Baby Doll Eyes it. It goes first. It has +1 priority. You can go first, and if you've already intimidated him, you can lower his attack even further. It is like a preemptive block versus many moves. Ice Fang for Garchomp, T-Bolt for Stab, Volt Switch for Momentum. He's better than you'd think. I'm not going to say he's like secret tech, but I like him. He's not failing me. And Trick Room is, I'd say, not exactly limited on Mons, but like, I don't feel suffocated when I team build, but I just feel like he's needed there, kind of. Like, there's other Intimidate Mons, there's other electric types, but he combines many good traits. As for Redirection, Parasect, good matchup versus Rain, but not actually, because they're just going to double target you anyways. But it means you Rage Powder them and you get the room up. Spore, if he survives, is going to be infuriating for the opponent. He only has X-Scissor, there's no Seed Bomb, there's no Leech Life, they just hate Gen 1 Mons, and they hate Parasect, so they cucked his... He gets Agility. He gets Agility, but not fucking Seed Bomb, are you kidding me? Oh my lord. I hate Pokemon, holy shit. Anyways, he's gonna be your main Rage Powder Mon plus Spore. If you want a bulkier alternative, there is Tangrowth with Regenerator and Citrus. It's that nice burst healing like I mentioned with Slowbro. But he's not got much else going on for him. Leaf Storm is cool. It's good damage because you're going to swap most of the time anyways. Sleep Powder's excellent. Rage Powder's great. There is some funny tech that my my one friend tried, like Leaf Storm plus Power Swap. So once you lower your special and once you get intimidated, you just, you know, you cuck them with Power Swap. But it's I'd say a little barbaric. I wouldn't put much money on it, but hey, it's there. Togekiss is here, not much to say about her. Everyone already knows how she works. She can ditch Thunder Wave for like D-Gleam or Aura Sphere. She's immune to Earthquake. I've said it a billion times, being immune to Earthquake is awesome. She can damage Garchomp, but I don't know. It's not like she'd be bad, but I just don't really know what's gonna happen with her. I think that's about all I have to say for Trick Room. A team that I've been using, and I'll post the paste bin for, is Donk, White Eyes, Salamander, Rodont, Bathhouse, Eggy. There's good type synergy going on. There's good ways to get room up with, be it reducing damage, threatening damage, or using Fake Out. But there's just something I feel like is lacking. I can't quite name it. The team hasn't disappointed me per se, but I'll figure out what I mean eventually. I have another team that has Con that I think can take a Lottie Draco, I think. Mostly do that at fat HP stat. Fake Out's powerful, she has great coverage moves. Donk as usual, Rhyperior. This is the team I was using Rhyperior plus Gyarados on. I should replace this though with Flash Cannon. As I mentioned earlier, I don't like Earth Substitute on Trick Room Mons. And I need to update that. I think it needed 12. Yep. Let me check other Trick Room teams that I have. There's this with Porygon 2. I don't think I completed it though. So be a little wary of that. And that's all I have for Trick Room really. I'm going to include some more stuff on my Rolls compendium that I made, which you should also check out. I'll leave a link to the thread and to that post in the description. But yeah, there is a lot of room for creativity and experimentation in BDSP. I think I'll make a video about why power creep is down so low in this later. But I'm really enjoying the meta. I haven't had fun with, like, I love Oras to death, but it was the beginning of the end with power creep. And in Gen 7 it got so nasty with terrains, Z moves, a bunch of strong Mons, some Mons getting banned like Mega Gengar and Mega Con. No more fighting types, they don't exist, so steel types get away for free. And, oh lord, as much as I love Mega Evolutions, they shouldn't exist in games with other gimmicks. Like, if we had a game where there was D-Max, Z-Move, and Megas, I think even the VGC players who just have to take it from Nintendo, I think even they'd quit. But yeah, we don't have that in BDSP. We instead just have Mons from Gens 1 through 4 and no battle gimmicks. I'll include links to the thread, to the teams, and to EV spreads in the description, and thank you for watching.